Yeah.
Good morning, Mr.
Thank you for seeing me.
Good to see you again.
Good that we have more frequent meetings. That's a good sign. I had a problem, and first I was opening some factors, and we had a combination.
Good morning. It is indeed a great pleasure to see President Saakashvili again and to welcome him to NATO headquarters. We last met a few months ago in Batumi when the President hosted a visit of the North Atlantic Council to Georgia. Now the North Atlantic Council is about to host the President, and that shows that our dialogue is deep, it's intensive, and it really is a two-way street. Georgia is a special partner for NATO. You're committed to our operations, to NATO accession, and committed to reforms. You already contribute the second largest non-NATO force to our mission in Afghanistan, and by the end of this year, you will be the largest non-NATO ISAF partner. Your troops are doing an outstanding job, shoulder to shoulder with NATO troops under challenging circumstances. Some have given their lives in our shared cause, and I pay tribute to their sacrifice, and I offer my deepest condolences to their families and loved ones. But our relationship goes far beyond Afghanistan. Georgia aspires to join our alliance, and we support your aspirations. We agreed at the Bucharest summit in 2008 that Georgia will become a member of NATO. That decision stands firm. And let me reaffirm, the alliance recognizes Georgia's territorial integrity and its sovereignty within internationally recognized borders. The alliance does not recognize the elections held recently in the Georgian regions of Abkhazia and South Ossetia. The holding of these elections does not contribute to a peaceful and lasting settlement of the situation in Georgia. Georgia has become a model of commitment, cooperation, and connectivity with the alliance, and we encourage you to continue that way. 1 month ago, we agreed on strengthening and broadening the connections between NATO and Georgia. This will support your reforms, increase our ability to operate together, and strengthen the capacity of the Georgian institutions to pursue your Euro-Atlantic agenda and goals. This is a long road, and we are taking it one step at a time. But you have already made good progress, and I trust that you will continue with your progress and your reforms as you approach the parliamentary elections this year. Those elections will be an important test for Georgia's democracy and a chance to show how far you have come. I know that allies will follow them closely. In all, Georgia is a model partner. Mr. President, I look forward to seeing you again in Chicago, where allies and partners will make clear our continued commitment to Afghanistan, and I expect that in Chicago We will also make clear how much we appreciate and recognize the commitment you show to NATO and the steady progress you have made. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. First, I would like to really underline how grateful me and our people, which is more important, are for your very strong personal stand in support of Georgia. In your previous capacity as Prime Minister of Denmark, we'll never forget your strong statements in 2008, the fact that you came to Tbilisi immediately after the events that took place then. My first official visit after the events was to Denmark, and that was, again, I will never forget your reception. And then, in this very efficient quality which you have now and very successful mission of being Secretary General of the Alliance, you've been very strong in supporting Georgia's NATO aspirations, in supporting our reforms, in supporting Georgia's territorial integrity, annexability, underlying the annexability of the status quo with our regions. And certainly this is something that makes historic difference for long-term prospects for not only for my country but also for our region. We also appreciate the way how you really led NATO through very difficult missions, and for us success of that mission is absolutely essential for our long-term survival, success and further progress. We certainly are committed to further changes. We are looking forward to Chicago. I think the framework we are now getting for Chicago looks more and more hopeful because it really underlines that Georgia has been moving forward. That's very important to underline. I noticed, Mr. Secretary General, that twice in your short statement today, you mentioned Georgia as a model, as a role model and a model country. And this really goes to what I visited President Obama in January, and President Obama called Georgia model for the whole region of reforms and changes and democracy building. And I think the fact that you're also talking about this model of Georgia is for us of special significance. It's the first time underlines our progress, but also how committed we should stay to this kind of thing. You know, we have elections this year, and we call strongly on international community, on the European Union, European Parliament, the OSCE, our partner countries, including the members of the alliance, to send not only short-term but long-term observers, to do polling of public opinion for all this period, monitor Georgian media coverage, monitor party financing mechanisms in Georgia, in order to ensure that not just the day of elections, but the whole process is transparent, predictable from the point of view of observing standards, and we exclude any kind of surprises or any kind of biased and not such well-wishing pressure on the whole process from outside or from destructive elements from any side. So from that point of view, we really want your help this year. And we will certainly be committed to making this thing. Usually countries try to avoid, especially in my regions, all kind of international intrusion into their election process. We want it. We want it in order to make the whole thing sustainable and institutional building irreversible. From the other point of view, we certainly are committed to our mission in Afghanistan. This is a hard mission, thank you for underlining, but we know what's at stake here. We know that it also brings us close to alliance. It also makes it also resonates with Georgian history of being part of a wider Western civilized, or in this case, democratic wider community. And from that point of view, we know, and our people know, that despite the losses, what's at stake there, what's at stake for international community, and what's at stake for our region, and what's at stake for us and for our future. It's also good that it helps to develop Georgia's own capacities. That has been evolving with your help, and we certainly count that, with the enhanced connectivity idea that now we have with NATO-Georgia Commission, that has really proven to be right venue for this. I think we're moving forward. Again, I'm looking forward to seeing North Atlantic Council. It's our second meeting for the last several months. You've been very generous in your positive assessment last time when you were in Georgia of our reforms. We've done quite some progress after that too. I'll report about this progress to NAC, and I'll be very open to all kind of questions. You know, it's always a frank discussion, and that's what we appreciate in NATO. It's not just a ceremonial thing. It's really a place to discuss real business and to have real decisions taken.
The very clear statements from President Saakashvili as well as the Georgian government that Georgia is committed to finding peaceful solutions to the regional disputes. We support those efforts. We also strongly support the Geneva talks with the aim to find a solution to the conflict on Abkhazia and South Ossetia. But more broadly speaking about security, the President also made clear today that the Georgian engagement in Afghanistan should also be seen as a strong contribution to regional security, because what is going on in Afghanistan will also have repercussions in the broader region, including in the Caucasus. So I think Georgia has demonstrated that Georgia is not just a consumer of security. Georgia is also a producer of, a provider of security. As regards the reform process, we have seen clear progress when it comes to democratic reforms in Georgia. We have discussed that on several occasions, and we appreciate very much legislation that has been passed to improve the way democracy functions in Georgia. In more specific terms, when it comes to reforms of the defense and security sector, NATO has been strongly engaged, and we also appreciate progress achieved in that area. So all in all, NATO has given a very positive assessment of the reform efforts in Georgia.
Well, as I said, you know, for us, the Secretary General basically said brilliantly, I cannot put it a better way. If I had, I would have said that, you know, nobody can sell success of Georgian government more to the world and also to Georgian people as he does, as a very good communicator, but also it's a substance to it. And the substance is that our rapprochement to NATO has been driving that process as well. This is not just an issue, you know, when we talk about reforms, the fact that 70% plus of our people are firmly committed to membership of NATO and only 9 is against. That clearly shows you that that's a very powerful motivator for further democratic reforms and changes. And from that point of view, we are very committed. We are very committed to security because, as we said, we want to be part of wider picture. Georgia's having their almost like code national history of being ourselves a complex multi-ethnic country with lots of background, complex background, that we should be present in these international operations, and we want NATO to succeed. Any kind of setback for NATO would be a major multiplied setback for Georgia. That's a very clear thing for us. We cannot stay intact or neutral or, you know, just impartial when we are talking about these issues where we have absolutely live kind of interest in terms of success of the alliance. From that point of view, whatever we can do in now withdrawal process, but also finishing the operation correctly. Also, unfortunately, knowing that where people have died there, and there is always a risk. In the building post-war Afghanistan, in contributing to it, not only in terms of funds, but also in terms of changes, reforms, training, giving our own infrastructure for that, participating with our own infrastructure in the withdrawal process. We are willing to do all of that, and I think this will only enhance our ties with the alliance, because it's also, ultimately, that's what it's also about for our people. In any case, we have much better working cooperation now in NATO than ever before. We used to have very good political relations. Now, under this leadership of NATO, and also because with the last 2 years, we really got through Commission and other things, concrete instruments how we could cooperate better. And we are doing that. Thank you.